Taoiseach, there is an immediate need for you to intervene to end the delay in evacuating very sick and injured children from Gaza to Ireland for urgent medical treatment. Last year, as you know, government agreed to evacuate 30 of these children. There were 2 successful evacuations of 12 children in December and May. However, the vital evacuation of the remaining 18 children has been stopped due to bureaucratic wrangling within government departments over visas. At least 8 children were identified by the World Health Organization and the HSE for urgent medical evacuation in early June. And a month on, they're still waiting, Taoiseach. Their medical assessments are complete, the doctors are ready, the hospitals are ready to receive and treat these children, but government is stalling. Time is of the essence here. It is a matter of life and death for these children. They tried to survive a genocide being carried out before the eyes of the world. I've corresponded with both the Taoiseach and the Minister for Health to advocate for their immediate evacuation. Minister Carol McNeill tells me that she is bringing a memo to Cabinet to seek government approval for what she calls a more humanitarian approach to the evacuations, and that she fully expects, in her words, to welcome the next group of children in the autumn. That's months away, Taoiseach. That is an eternity away. The only humanitarian approach is to get these children out now. It's important that government memo doesn't solely identify Egypt as the evacuation route for these children. The Rafah crossing is closed and there is no direct route from Gaza to Cairo. Countries such as Jordan must be included. Jordan, as you know, is already facilitating evacuations and has offered to help. Every week, every day, every hour that their evacuation out of Gaza is delayed puts these children's lives at increased risk. And there is every chance that these children will be killed as they wait, while government departments push paper around, tick boxes and argue amongst themselves. That threat, that likelihood is very real, very present and very immediate for these children. We know that children from an earlier group previously identified for medical evacuation from Gaza to Ireland have died while waiting to come here in the horror of Israel's genocide. Doctors in Ireland who are standing by to treat these children, ready to save their lives, are very, very worried for them. Dr. Morgan McMonagle, a trauma surgeon who's worked on humanitarian missions in Gaza, puts the reality for these children in very stark terms. He says, by autumn, there is a very, very good chance that Gaza simply won't exist at the rate that things are going. So it's unacceptable that government put bureaucratic wrangling over the lives of very sick, injured children. A hishi, Tom Fifri or the lather occurs to scale, agus kinshu goil na lani seo totin agus gurtaha, a slunaha and buinsha buisha o Gaza gaheran, dun crum lice atá the yi erhu. Taoiseach, the government's proposed time frame of autumn will be too late for some or perhaps even all of these children. This is a matter of life and death. They are waiting since early June, and it's vital that you as head of government intervene, expedite their arrival in Ireland with no further delay, and I ask you to do this with urgency.
First of all, I thank the Deputy for raising this important issue. And at the outset, I have to say that one of the appalling features of the war on Gaza has been the indiscriminate slaughter of innocent children. And it has shocked the world in terms of the serial killing of children as a result of indiscriminate bombing, attacks and shootings. And the scale of injuries suffered by so many children is truly appalling. Now, we do have, as a country, a strong tradition of providing humanitarian assistance. And in September last year, following an appeal from the World Health Organization, the government did approve, of course, our participation in an initiative to evacuate a number of sick children from Gaza for treatment and care back here in Ireland. And 4 flights were agreed. 2 have been successfully carried out. So far, about 12 children in total have arrived safely to receive medical treatment, facilitated through 2 evacuations, one in December, another in May, December of last year and May of this year. Children were accompanied by 12 mother carers and 21 accompanying family members, so about 45 between adults and children would have been facilitated in, and ensuring that the available appropriate supports are in place to facilitate the paediatric patients and their families obviously is key to the success of the overall operation, and planning is ongoing for the next medical evacuation operation. There is no delay. Nothing has been stopped. There is no bureaucratic wrangling. This is not subject to any government memo. In other words, a government memo will emerge which will, in many respects, adopt an even more generous response in terms of the numbers of family members who can come, or siblings of the injured child. So the presentation of a memo is not material to the next flight. It will come through, it will regularise what's been happening already, because the original government decision had, I think, 1 child and 1 person. But actually, in practice, what we've been doing is much more than that. So the next memo, the memo that the Minister is bringing, will regularise all of that. Simple as that. But it's not stopping anything. And there's no one sort of saying it can't, the next flight can't happen. No one's saying that. There are obviously huge logistical issues in terms of getting children out of Gaza. And the WHO and Medevac and others are working with us in terms of coordinating that. There had been no delays in the processing of Irish entry visas. In this regard, there are no current applications under this scheme awaiting processing. Okay? And the Minister is here and confirm all of that. So I would respectfully say that before making allegations and assertions, we get the facts right. And as far as I'm concerned, we will do everything we can to honour and fulfil what we've committed to, and to what we can do to help children who desperately need treatment and care, and wider supports because of the extraordinary trauma that has been visited on so many children as a result of a horrific war that has no moral justification whatsoever anymore in terms of the assault on children. We want hostages, all the hostages released. We want an end to the war in Gaza. We, as a country, will continue to provide humanitarian assistance to Gaza and to the West Bank and to all the various agencies that support Palestinians in Jordan and Lebanon. We work with Jordan on a continuing basis. So wherever the children, there's no issue for us in terms of the particular border crossing or the particular method or mechanism, or route out of Gaza. That's not an issue for us at all.
Thank you, Taoiseach. Deputy McDonald.
Well, Taoiseach, no child is safe in Gaza. The Israeli genocide has mercilessly slaughtered children with abandon, and the international community has watched on. The commitment that this state and the government has made is actually a very modest one. 30 children. They should be evacuated with all due haste. My information is, and according to the medics who will treat these children, not alone have 8 children been identified by the World Health Organization and the HSE as needing urgent care, but the assessments are complete, the doctors are ready, the hospitals are ready. So if, as you say, there is in fact no bureaucratic wrangling and no blockage, why are they not here? That's my question. That's my question. My challenge to you still as Taoiseach is this: ensure quickly that the remaining children, 8 ready to travel with full medical assessments complete, and a further 10, that those evacuations happen without any further delay. And by the way, I've been in contact with the Taoiseach, and he informed me that there was in fact a necessity of a memo to Cabinet. So I don't know what your communications is like within government. I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in the children and the need to evacuate them now for the treatment they need.
Is áit marrá nachhfuil to críonn leis an eolas atá agat, agus leis an méad dúir tú maidin faoin cheist seo. Caitheamh time darfach go méid mínas a rialtas ag déanamh gaci an éireach na leanaí seo chóirtaisteach chotapóla is féidirling. Tá rank déanta going, tá níos móla déanta going. No, in respect of the case, you've moved on now in your second, because the earlier assertions were wrong.
They're not wrong.
They were
Sorry,
wrong.
Deputy,
Fundamentally wrong,
allow the
Deputy. I don't understand why. I understand there's no issue with raising questions and so on, but the absolute motivation on your side seems to be all the time to seek to sow doubt in terms of the bona fides of
Deputy,
you seeking
please.
to sow
Deputy
doubt
McDonald.
in the bona fide of government on a fundamental humanitarian question. That is not acceptable. From the very beginning of this war, we did everything to get Irish citizens out of Gaza. Our embassies and our diplomats did everything possible to do it. Why do you think we would try and delay children coming out of Gaza? How dare you make that assertion? That is not on my agenda, and it's not on the government's agenda.
Thank you. Deputy
And the government memo is immaterial.
Thank you, Taoiseach. Time is up.
It's immaterial. We discussed this Monday evening. Tarnished to the Taoiseach with the Minister for Justice. No delay in this respect.
Thank you, Taoiseach. Deputy.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.